It is exactly 5:38 a.m. local time. The sky over the Donetsk airfield is gray, heavy, and silent. To any pilot, this airspace is a death sentence. It is protected by one of the densest air defense networks on the planet, a layered fortress of S-400s, Buk MS-3s, and Tor missile systems. To the Russian commanders on the ground, this is an impenetrable shield. But to a team of Ukrainian operators sitting in a basement 50 miles away, it is a puzzle waiting to be solved. And the first piece is about to be played. Their target is not on the runway. It is a nondescript rectangular building adjacent to the airfield. Thermal satellites have confirmed the heat signatures of lithium batteries charging and engines testing. This is a Shahed drone assembly complex, the birthplace of the weapons terrorizing Ukrainian cities. Every drone built inside that building has already killed someone. The first wave of Ukrainian Beaver long-range drones crosses the line of contact. They are not trying to sneak past the guards. They are kicking down the front door. A Russian Tor missile system hiding in a tree line gets the first bite. The radar screams. 3 miles away, 2 missiles streak out, accelerating to Mach 2.5. On the lead Ukrainian operator screen, the signal latency spikes to 300 milliseconds. The video feeds stutter. He doesn't pull up, he pushes down. He drops the Beaver to less than 3 feet off the ground. He is slaloming between drainage ditches and concrete barriers. The first missile fails to track the sudden angular change. It slams into the earth 60 feet to the left of the drone. The second missile passes overhead, detonating close enough that the shockwave rattles the operator's video feed for half a second. The 2 trailing Beaver drones split off to the sides. The Tor system is forced to divide its attention. But telemetry indicates a threat greater than just a missile lock, the slow, steady scanning pattern of the Tor radar. The lead operator keeps his drone hugging the deck. The ground clutter creates false speed and position readings for the radar, but there is a cost. Flying this low drains the batteries at a frantic pace. Every foot of altitude sacrificed turns into precious seconds of endurance lost. The Russian Tor crew panics. They see the targets, but they can't kill them. Instead of assessing for a relock, they break discipline. They ripple fire the remaining 6 missiles in less than 5 seconds. One operator slams the launch button twice, harder than necessary, just to feel in control. The horizon turns into a massive fireworks display. This was exactly what the Ukrainians were waiting for. The Tor guidance computer guides missiles via continuous updates, but the hardware can only reliably handle 2 missiles at a time. When 8 are launched in rapid succession, the final 6 receive weak commands, stale data, or no data at all. Suddenly, the Ukrainian operators execute a paradoxical maneuver. All 3 Beaver drones climb to 50 feet. Not high enough to be easy targets, but enough to escape the ground noise. They fly straight and level for exactly 3 seconds. These 3 predictable seconds allow the Tor's computer to calculate an intercept solution. But that solution becomes useless the moment the drones dive back down. 2 missiles fly into empty space. 2 more slam into the ground, trying to follow. The last pair veers off, losing connection. The Tor system is empty. It requires at least 9 minutes to reload. 9 minutes is an eternity in modern air defense. The door is cracked open. But as the Tor crew frantically tries to reload, the battle shifts to a larger threat. 5 miles behind the Tor, a Buk M3 battery wakes up. This system doesn't panic, it sweeps. The Buk begins painting the corridor with search pulses. Unlike the Tor, the Buk takes time to track targets over multiple scans, to learn their movement patterns. The drone operators see their video quality degrade in waves as the powerful radar washes over them. Battery levels are at 70%, but dropping fast due to the maneuvering. A second wave of FPV drones is launched to neutralize the Tor before it can reorganize. If they fail, the corridor closes. Moving forward is the only option. The lead Beaver leaves the cover of an abandoned gas station and flies straight into the Buk's search pattern. Signal indicators show steady pressure. Video compression becomes difficult. The lead operator spots a row of abandoned fuel pipelines. He dives behind them. He isn't hiding from sight, he is hiding from math. There is no room for fear, only calculations. The Buk needs a stable velocity vector to predict the impact point. Every time the Beaver flies at an angle to the beam or suddenly changes speed behind the pipes, the Buk has to recalculate from scratch. These minor errors accumulate, creating windows of time that mean the difference between a direct hit and a near miss. It's like trying to throw a punch while standing on a moving train. Behind the lead drone, the other two Beavers are struggling. The second operator's latency rises to 150 milliseconds. The Buk's search pulses are interfering with the control packets. The third operator is barely maintaining a clear image through the noise. Suddenly, power lines appear on the screen. The lead operator pushes the Beaver directly under the wires. He uses the steel poles and heavy cables to create momentary radar shadows. For a massive jet, this would be meaningless. But for a drone the size of a large bird, the metal blocks the radar's view just enough to make the tracking quality flicker. However, the Buk isn't working alone. Further back at the Donetsk airfield, an S-400 command post begins scanning. Tracking Beaver drones at treetop level is like looking for ants with a telescope. But the S-400 doesn't need to track them directly. It just needs to coordinate the kill. 5:53 a.m. While the heavy radars are distracted by the Beavers, the real knife enters the fight. 6 FPV strike drones accelerate from the northwest at an altitude of 160 feet. They catch the Tor crew frantically trying to reload. The lead FPV drops to grass level and sprints toward the Tor. The wingmen stay high to split the radar's attention. A Tor computer can only handle a limited number of targets moving in different directions. 6 FPVs flying completely different profiles, high, low, fast, slow, turn the targeting solution into total chaos. The Tor turret spins wildly, trying to lock onto the closest threat. It is too late. Impact. The first FPV strikes the left side, hitting the loading crane. The second FPV hits the vulnerable neck under the turret, the bundle of sensitive cables connecting the radar to the chassis. The turret freezes mid-rotation. Smoke pours from the electronics. The Tor is neutralized. The victory lasts only 3 seconds. The Buk system reminds everyone it is still watching. 2 9M317 missiles launch from behind the tree line. These are flying telephone poles, designed to destroy fighter jets at 30 miles. Using them against FPV drones is like killing mosquitoes with a sledgehammer. The Buk crew is desperate. The FPV operators see the launch and do the only sensible thing. They dive for the ground and scatter. The first Buk missile tries to track a zigzagging Beaver among abandoned buildings. It cannot handle the high angular velocity. Its proximity fuse detonates early due to ground reflections. The second missile passes close enough that the shockwave flips a Beaver upside down. The operator fights the controls, regaining stability just inches before hitting the dirt. 4 FPVs survive, and the Buk has just betrayed its exact positions. The S-400 adjusts its search pattern to fill the gap left by the dead Tor. The 4 surviving FPVs gather behind a collapsed building. The Buk M3 has 4 missiles left. The lead FPV operator decides on a frontal assault. The Buk crew expects the drones to use cover. They never anticipate a drone charging them head-on like a missile. All 4 FPVs go to max speed in a side-by-side formation. The Buk's mast-mounted radar tracks all 4, but the crew can only engage 1 or 2 at a time. Then, the third wave arrives. 3 additional Beaver drones sweep in a wide arc and attack from the Buk's rear quarter, a partial radar blind spot. The Buk crew has 5 seconds to decide: deal with the frontal FPVs or turn the radar to the rear. They choose wrong. As the radar begins to turn, the frontal drones are left untracked. The lead operator sees the opening. He flies straight into the radar mast. Impact. The first FPV hits the center of the radar face. The delicate transceiver modules are shredded. The cooling system ruptures. The explosion isn't massive, but the radar panels fold like a broken umbrella. High-voltage cables short out in a shower of sparks. A second FPV hits the base of the mast. The Buk, the sniper of the battlefield, is now blind. The final obstacle remains: the S-400 command post at the airfield. The S-400 is designed to track ballistic missiles at 250 miles, not drones ziplining through an industrial zone. Without the Tor or Buk for protection, the S-400 operators are forced to use equipment for a task it wasn't built for. Their massive radar sees everything: birds, cars, smoke, and somewhere in that mess are the Ukrainian drones. Ukraine plays its ace. A heavy Ram-2X loitering munition has been circling at 6,500 feet for 25 minutes, waiting for this exact moment. It dives. It doesn't target the missile launchers. It targets the 55K6 command vehicle, the brain of the battery. The S-400 radar finally gets a clean lock at 1,600 feet. But the geometry is impossible. The drone is directly overhead. You cannot punch someone who is standing on your shoulders. Boom. The Ram-2X slams into the roof of the command post, right over the main processor room. The screens go black. The radios go silent. The S-400 launchers are still loaded, but without the brain to tell them where to shoot, they are just expensive lawn ornaments. 10 a.m. For 5 seconds, nothing fires. The corridor is clear. After 15 minutes of choreographed destruction, every air defense node between them and the target is either burning, blind, or brain dead. The hardest part wasn't the fight. It was the coordination. Dozens of drones moving through the same cleared corridor required Rolex-level precision. To prevent blue-on-blue collisions, the Ukrainians layered the corridor like a wedding cake. Beaver drones at 150 to 340 feet, FPVs below 65 feet, loitering munitions above 650 feet. The first Beaver enters the Donetsk airfield zone. Through the camera, the operator sees the target, a rectangular building with a rounded roof. Thermal signatures flare from the vents, heat from the assembly line. Russian soldiers on the ground are running between buildings. Some raise rifles. Small arms fire is no threat. Hitting a drone at 60 miles per hour with a Kalashnikov is like trying to hit a baseball with a toothpick. The operator ignores them. He pushes the throttle to max. The Beaver dives from 340 feet to 65 feet, accelerating. Impact. The first drone hits the roof at a shallow angle. It punches through the thin, corrugated metal. The warhead detonates inside the main assembly hall. The initial blast is small, just a flash and a puff of smoke. But then, the secondary explosions start. Fuel tanks rupture, batteries ignite. Stacked Shahhed warheads begin to cook off like a chain reaction. The building exhales a massive cloud of black smoke. The factory is gone. The radars are blind. Not because of bigger weapons, but smarter ones. This wasn't about power. And the next time the sky goes quiet, someone will remember this morning. It was about timing, geometry, and precision. If stories like this help you understand how modern war is really changing, subscribe to the channel. We break it down so you don't miss what matters.